Ethan was just a human waiter. He worked in one of the busiest restaurants on the Galactic station. Every day, hundreds of strange creatures from faraway worlds came to eat there. Some had wings, some had scales, some floated instead of walking. To them, Ethan was nothing special. Just another human worker. Humans were seen as weak, slow, and unimportant in the galaxy. They were allowed to work in low jobs, but nothing more. Ethan had learned to accept this life. He carried trays, cleaned tables, and forced a smile even when customers insulted him. He needed this job. He needed the few credits it gave him to pay for his small room and cheap food. It was not much, but it kept him alive. That day seemed normal at first. The restaurant was noisy, with alien voices mixing like music and chaos at the same time. Colored lights flashed from the ceiling. The air was thick with the smell of hundreds of dishes from different planets. Ethan moved quickly between the tables, careful not to spill anything. The alien manager watched him closely. One mistake could mean punishment, maybe even losing the job. Then Ethan noticed something strange. At one corner table, an old alien was struggling. It was a tall, thin creature with skin that looked like silver glass. Its hands shook as it tried to lift a heavy plate. The alien coughed, a weak sound, almost painful. Other waiters ignored it. To them, it was not their problem. But Ethan could not look away. Something in his chest told him to help. For a moment, he hesitated. The rules of the restaurant were clear. Never touch a customer, never interfere, and never show too much attention. The Galactic law was even stricter. Humans were not supposed to get involved in the affairs of higher species. Helping could be seen as disrespect. Helping could mean trouble, but Ethan's heart was stronger than his fear. He stepped forward. "Sir, let me help you," he said softly. The old alien lifted its head. Its eyes glowed faintly as if filled with starlight. For a second, Ethan felt like the alien was staring not at his face but deep into his soul. Slowly, Ethan took the plate and placed it carefully on the table. He helped adjust the alien's chair, making sure it could sit comfortably. The alien whispered in a voice that trembled, "You carry light inside you." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" But before he could ask more, a loud voice cut through the air. "Ethan!" The manager stormed forward, his 4 eyes burning with anger. He was a thick, green-skinned alien, twice Ethan's size. His voice was sharp and cruel. "What do you think you are doing?" "I was just helping," Ethan said, his voice shaking. "Helping?" The manager's laugh was harsh. "You touched a customer without permission. Do you want to bring shame to this place? Do you want to break galactic law?" Other waiters stopped working. Customers turned their heads. All eyes were on Ethan now. He felt heat on his face as whispers filled the room. The old alien tried to speak, but the manager raised a hand. "Silence! This is not your concern. This human will be dealt with." Ethan felt his chest tighten. He wanted to argue, to say it was only kindness, but the words froze in his throat. "You are fired," the manager said coldly. "Leave this place now. You will never work here again." The restaurant fell silent. Then slowly the noise returned, but it was different now. Soft laughter, mocking whispers. Ethan stood there, humiliated. His hands trembled. He looked at the old alien, who still watched him with those glowing eyes. Something about that look made Ethan pause. It was not pity. It was not sadness. It was knowing, as if the alien understood something that Ethan did not. But the moment passed. The manager grabbed Ethan's arm and shoved him toward the exit. "Go, and never come back." Ethan stumbled out of the restaurant. The bright lights of the station corridor hurt his eyes. His chest was heavy. He had lost his only job. He had no savings, no friends to help him. He wanted to scream, but only silence came. Behind him, through the glass wall of the restaurant, he saw the old alien still sitting, still staring. Their eyes met one last time. The alien gave the faintest nod, as if saying this is only the beginning. Ethan did not know why, but that look made his heart beat faster. Something strange had started. Something bigger than his small life. He walked into the crowded station, lost among aliens of every shape. The voices, the lights, the smells, everything felt louder now. But deep inside, a question echoed again and again. Why did the old alien say you carry light inside you? Ethan did not know. But soon he would. Ethan walked away from the restaurant with heavy steps. His uniform still smelled of food and smoke, but now it felt like chains wrapped around his chest. He had been fired in front of everyone. The laughter of alien customers still echoed in his ears. It was not just losing the job. It was the shame, the humiliation, He had tried to help, and for that he was punished. He kept walking through the neon-lit corridors of the Galactic station. The floor beneath his feet buzzed with energy. The walls shone with glowing signs in 100 different languages, each one pulling customers toward shops, bars, and gambling halls. Life on the station never stopped, never cared about one small human. Ethan felt smaller than ever. Other workers passed him by. A group of alien waiters from the restaurant walked past, whispering. Their long faces twisted in cruel smiles. One of them laughed, a clicking sound like breaking glass. "Human fool," it said in its own tongue, but Ethan understood enough to know. He looked down, ashamed, but then something made him lift his head. In the distance, near the corner of the corridor, the old alien from the restaurant stood. Its silver glass skin glimmered under the neon lights. It was watching him again. Ethan froze, waiting for it to approach. But the alien only gave him that same strange, knowing look, and then slowly turned and vanished into the crowd. Ethan's heart beat faster. Why did that alien keep staring at him? What did those words mean? "You carry light inside you?" He shook his head. "It doesn't matter," he whispered to himself. "It's just nonsense." But even as he tried to forget, he could not. The memory clung to him like a shadow. Hours passed. Ethan sat alone in his small room. It was no bigger than a storage box. A single bed pressed against one wall. A broken fan hummed weakly overhead, and a tiny window looked out into the endless void of space. He sat on the bed with his head in his hands. He had no job, no credits left. Soon, he would not even have a room. Hunger clawed at his stomach, but he had no money for food. Anger rose inside him. Anger at the manager, at the aliens who laughed, at the law that said humans were less than everyone else. He wanted to fight. He wanted to shout at the galaxy that he mattered. But what could one human do? He was powerless. He lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. His thoughts drifted to his family, far away on Earth. They believed he was working and surviving out here, making something of himself. They did not know the truth, that he was nothing but a servant in a world that despised his kind. The shame cut deeper than any knife. Then, something unexpected happened. His wrist device buzzed. A tiny screen lit up. At first, he thought it was another debt reminder, but it was not. A message glowed in simple, clear words. "Meet me outside the city wall tonight. Bring no one." Ethan sat up straight. His chest tightened. Who sent this? The message had no name, no code, nothing to trace it. He read the words again and again. The city wall. That meant outside the safety of the station's inner districts, near the edge where the bright lights faded into darkness and the desert of the planet stretched beyond. No sane person went there at night. It was dangerous, filled with smugglers and worse. But his instincts told him something else. He thought of the old alien, its glowing eyes, its strange words. Could it be the same one? He paced the room. His mind battled with itself. It could be a trap. It could be a trick. But what if it isn't? What if it's a chance? Ethan looked at the cracked mirror on his wall. His own face stared back, tired, hopeless, but with a spark of something hidden. Maybe the alien had seen it. Maybe the alien was right. The buzz of the city outside filled his ears. The thought of staying in his room, hungry and hopeless, made his stomach twist. No, he could not just sit and do nothing. He had already lost everything today. What more could he lose? Decision burned inside him. "I'll go," he whispered. The night came quickly. The station's artificial lights dimmed and the streets outside grew colder. Ethan wrapped himself in an old jacket and slipped out of his room. He walked past the busy markets, past the glowing towers, until the signs grew fewer and the crowds disappeared. At last he reached the city wall. It was a tall barrier of metal and stone, humming with faint energy. Beyond it lay the wasteland, the empty desert of the planet. The stars above looked sharper out here, as if the galaxy itself was watching. Ethan waited in silence. The air felt heavy. His heart pounded in his chest. He wanted to turn back, but something inside kept him still. Then, from the shadows, a figure stepped forward. It was the old alien, the same one from the restaurant. Its silver glass skin shimmered under the moonlight, its glowing eyes fixed on him once more. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. The alien spoke in a voice that was both weak and strong, as if carrying the weight of centuries. "You came," it said. "Good, because your life is about to change. The desert outside the city wall was silent. No neon lights, no noise of markets, no voices of laughing aliens. Only the wind moved across the endless sand, whispering like ghosts. Above, the stars burned bright, cold, and far. Ethan stood facing the old alien. His heart beat fast, but his feet stayed firm on the ground. He had left everything behind to come here, and now there was no turning back. The alien's silver glass skin glowed faintly in the starlight. Its body looked fragile, but its glowing eyes carried power. Power that made Ethan feel both afraid and curious. "You helped me," the alien said, its voice slow and heavy, like each word cost strength, in a place where humans are not allowed to care. "That makes you different," Ethan frowned. "Different? I only did what anyone would do." "You were struggling." The alien tilted its head. "Not anyone. Many saw me. Only you moved. Kindness is rare in this galaxy. In humans, it is even rarer because fear keeps you small." Ethan's chest tightened. The alien spoke as if it knew him, as if it knew every thought in his mind. The alien lifted a long, thin hand. In its palm appeared a small object, a cube no bigger than a stone. It glowed with soft, golden light as if a tiny sun lived inside it. The glow touched Ethan's face, and for a moment he felt warmth in his chest. "What is that?" he asked, stepping closer. The alien's eyes narrowed, almost like a smile. "This is a relic, very old. Older than this station, older than the law you fear. It was made by humans, long before your people forgot who they were." Ethan froze. "Humans made this?" "Yes," the alien whispered. "But it has been lost for centuries. I carried it in secret, waiting for the one who could awaken it." Ethan shook his head. "Why me? I'm nothing. I'm just a waiter. I couldn't even keep my job." The alien stepped closer. The cube pulsed brighter now. "Not nothing. You helped without thinking of gain. That is strength. This cube responds not to power, not to rank, but to compassion. That is why you were punished today. Because you broke the chain the galaxy placed on humans. You dared to care." Ethan's breath quickened. He felt the truth in the alien's words, yet fear tangled inside him. "If the managers find out, if the enforcers know, I'll be killed." The alien nodded. "Yes, the galactic law will not forgive. They fear what you might become." Ethan stared at the cube. The golden light seemed alive, like it was calling him. His hand shook, but he reached forward. "Take it," the alien whispered. The moment Ethan's fingers touched the cube, it melted like liquid fire. It ran across his skin, glowing veins racing up his arm. Ethan gasped. His chest felt like it would burst. He dropped to his knees, clutching his arm as light flowed into him, filling every cell, every nerve. The desert around him seemed to shift. The stars above shone brighter, the sand sparkled, the very air hummed. He felt stronger, sharper. His ears caught sounds miles away. His eyes saw details he had never seen before. The universe itself felt closer, as if it had been waiting for him. When the light faded, the cube was gone. But Ethan's arm still glowed faintly, as if the relic had fused with him. "What did you do to me?" he asked, his voice unsteady. "I did nothing," the alien replied. "The relic chose you. It lives in you now. Your body holds its power, but your choices will shape it. You can heal, you can protect, you can fight, but only if your heart stays true." Ethan stood slowly. He felt different. Taller, stronger, but more than that, he felt awake, as if a part of him that had always been sleeping had opened its eyes. The alien's voice grew soft. "Remember this, power brings enemies. The enforcers will come. They watch everything. Already they have noticed you. From this moment you are hunted." Ethan's stomach twisted. Hunted? He had only just survived being fired. Now he was supposed to fight? "I didn't ask for this," he whispered. "No one ever does," the alien said. "But destiny is not asked for, it is given. You can run and hide, or you can stand and be what humans were meant to be." The wind blew hard across the desert. Ethan looked back at the city wall, glowing faintly in the distance. Inside, millions of aliens lived, most of them believing humans were weak, broken, unimportant. But inside him, something powerful now burned. He turned back to the alien, but the space was empty. The figure was gone, as if it had melted into the air. Only the whisper of its last words lingered. "Your light will be tested soon." Ethan stood alone under the stars, his heart racing. He clenched his glowing hand. He didn't know if he was ready. He didn't know if he wanted this, but something deep inside whispered that this was only the beginning. Ethan could not sleep that night. The glow in his arm pulsed softly under his skin like a hidden heartbeat. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt energy running through him, warm, strong, alive. He had no words for it. It was not just strength. It was like carrying a secret star inside his body. He sat on his bed in silence, staring at his hand. When he focused, faint lines of golden light appeared across his skin, like fire under glass. He clenched his fist and the glow grew brighter. He opened it and the light faded. It obeyed him. "What are you?" he whispered to himself. The alien's words echoed in his mind. "Your choices will shape it. You can heal, you can protect, you can fight, but only if your heart stays true." Ethan tried to breathe slowly, but his heart pounded. Fear and wonder tangled inside him. For the first time in his life, he did not feel powerless. The next morning, the city was buzzing as usual. Ethan walked through the crowded streets trying to act normal, but he could not ignore how different everything felt. His senses were sharper. He could hear merchants arguing from far across the plaza. He could smell the spices of alien foods carried by the wind. His eyes caught details he had never noticed before. The tiny cracks in the metal walls, the hidden cameras watching every street, the nervous twitch of people trying to hide secrets. He felt alive, but he also felt danger. Surveillance drones buzzed above, scanning faces. Enforcer patrols marched through the streets, their armored boots striking the floor in rhythm. Their blasters gleamed under the lights. Ethan had seen them before, but now, they seemed to watch him longer than usual, as if they sensed something. He pulled his jacket tighter and hurried away. Later that day, as he wandered near the lower markets, Ethan heard a sound that made his stomach twist. A cry, a child's cry. He turned and saw a small human boy pressed against the wall. Two alien guards towered over him. Their skin was dark blue, their faces covered in armored masks. They wore the uniform of the station's enforcers. One grabbed the boy by the arm, shaking him. "Illegal selling," one guard growled. "You humans know the rules. No trading, no standing here." The boy whimpered, holding a tiny basket of cheap fruit. His face was pale with fear. "Please, I just wanted to eat." The guard raised his hand, ready to strike. Ethan froze. His chest tightened. Every instinct screamed at him to walk away. Humans were not supposed to interfere. If he tried to help, he would face punishment again, maybe worse. The whole station knew the law. Helping was dangerous, but he remembered the old alien's voice. "You dared to care." Ethan's hands shook. He stepped forward. "Leave him alone." The guards turned. Their glowing masks locked on him. One of them sneered. "Another human? Do you wish to be punished too?" Fear burned in Ethan's chest. But beneath the fear was something else, heat rising, demanding. His arm glowed faintly under his sleeve. The guard shoved the boy aside and stepped toward Ethan. "Walk away, human." Ethan clenched his fists. The glow spread, brighter now. Golden light seeped through the fabric of his jacket. The guard stopped, startled. "What is this?" One hissed. Ethan lifted his hand. Light burst from his palm, forming a shimmering shield. The air hummed as if the universe itself bent around him. The guard swung his weapon, but the blade cracked against the shield like glass. Sparks flew, the crowd gasped. Aliens stepped back in shock. No one had ever seen a human do this. Ethan pushed forward. The shield slammed into the guard, knocking him back several feet. The other guard raised his blaster, but before he could fire, a wave of golden light surged from Ethan's hand. It struck the weapon, melting it into useless scrap. Silence filled the market. Everyone stared. The boy's eyes widened with awe. "You," the guard whispered, struggling to rise. "Impossible. Humans cannot." But Ethan already knew what he was. Different. Changed. The guards staggered to their feet and retreated, fear in their voices. "This will be reported. The enforcers will not forgive this." They ran. The drones above buzzed loudly, their cameras flashing. Ethan realized too late. The entire event had been recorded. His face, his glowing arm. The power. The boy ran to him, clutching his small basket. "Thank you," he said, his voice shaking. "No one ever stands up to them." Ethan knelt and placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. The glow dimmed, soft now, warm instead of fierce. "Stay safe, and never stop believing you matter." The boy nodded and ran into the crowd. Ethan stood alone in the plaza, his chest rising and falling. The crowd whispered, staring. Some looked afraid. Some looked amazed. But all had seen. The galaxy now knew a human had broken the law. That night, Ethan hid in his room. His mind spun with fear. Posters already appeared on the station's screens, his face marked with the words, "Human criminal. Report immediately." He was hunted now, but deep inside, beneath the fear, he felt something stronger. Hope. For the first time, he was not powerless. For the first time, he could fight back. The city did not sleep. It never did. Lights burned all night. Markets stayed open. Ships came and went from the docks. But now, in every corner of the station, screens glowed with Ethan's face. His name was not written, just the word, human criminal, dangerous. Ethan sat in the shadows of a narrow alley, his hood pulled low. His chest rose and fell quickly. The glow in his arm was hidden, but inside the relic pulsed like a second heartbeat. He had saved a child. He had done the right thing. But the galaxy did not care about right or wrong. All it cared about was law, and the law said humans must never interfere. He pressed his hand against the wall, trying to steady himself. The metal vibrated faintly. His senses were sharper again. Every sound reached him. The whir of drones, the boots of enforcers, the whispers of merchants shutting down their stalls. He could almost feel the city breathing, alive and restless. Ethan knew he could not hide forever. The enforcers would find him. They always did. But still, he could not stop remembering the look on the boy's face, the look of hope. It burned stronger in his memory than the fear. Suddenly, a sound cut through the night, screams, shouts. Ethan's head snapped up. From the main street, flashes of light lit the darkness. Blaster fire. People ran, panic spreading like fire. Without thinking, Ethan moved toward the noise. His heart pounded, but his legs carried him forward. At the plaza, chaos filled the air. Enforcers surrounded a group of human workers. The workers had gathered to protest, small, weak voices demanding fair treatment. The enforcers answered with weapons. One human man lay on the ground, injured, his arm bleeding. A woman tried to shield him, but the enforcer shoved her down. "Back to your holes, humans," the enforcer roared. "You have no rights here." Ethan's fist clenched. His chest burned. The relic inside him pulsed harder, as if it sensed his anger. He stepped into the light. "Stop," he said. His voice was steady, louder than he expected. The enforcers turned. Their glowing masks scanned him. Recognition flashed instantly. "There, the criminal!" Blasters rose. Ethan lifted his arm. Golden light burst forth, a shield forming around him like a wall of fire. The blaster bolts struck, but they dissolved into sparks against the shield. The crowd gasped. Humans stared in disbelief. Aliens pulled back, muttering in shock. The enforcers fired again, harder, faster. But Ethan pushed forward, each step glowing brighter. His shield widened, spreading like wings, blocking the fire from reaching the workers. The injured man behind him stared, his eyes wide. "He's protecting us," Ethan gritted his teeth. "Get them out of here," he told the humans. "Now!" The workers hesitated, stunned by the sight of one of their own standing tall against enforcers. Then slowly they began to move, dragging the injured to safety. The enforcers growled. "You dare defy galactic law, human?" Ethan lowered his shield slightly, his golden eyes blazing. "The law is wrong." He thrust his hand forward. A wave of light shot out, striking the ground in front of the enforcers. The floor cracked, glowing with heat. The shockwave knocked several enforcers off their feet. Their weapons clattered away. The crowd gasped louder now. Some shouted. Some cheered. The humans whispered one word again and again. Hope. But above, the drones captured everything. Every moment. Every spark of light. And somewhere, deep in the city's control towers, commanders watched the footage with cold, calculating eyes. "Activate pursuit protocol," one of them said. "This human will not survive the night." Ethan knew he could not win forever. More enforcers would come. Already the sound of heavy boots echoed through the streets. He turned to the humans. "Go, hide! Don't let them catch you!" They scattered into the alleys, carrying the injured with them. Ethan stood alone in the plaza, breathing hard, his glow dimming as exhaustion pulled at his body. From the shadows, a voice whispered, "You've taken your first step." Ethan spun. The old alien stood there, half hidden, watching. Its silver glass skin shimmered faintly. "You again," Ethan said, his voice heavy with anger. "Why me? Why give me this power if it only paints a target on my back?" The alien's eyes glowed. "Because hope must be seen. The galaxy must know humans are not weak. Tonight you showed them. Ethan shook his head. I'm no hero. I'm just trying to survive. The alien's voice was calm, steady. Survival is not enough anymore. Your light will either die in hiding, or grow until it changes everything. Before Ethan could reply, a loud voice thundered from the street. Human criminal. Surrender now. Dozens of enforcers marched forward, weapons raised, their armor shining under the lights. Ethan's chest tightened. The crowd gasped and pulled back. There was no escape this time. He looked at the alien, but it was already gone like smoke in the wind. Ethan stood alone, surrounded. The relic inside him pulsed brighter, hotter, as if preparing for something bigger. He raised his hand. The plaza filled with golden light. The test had only just begun. The station was no longer the same. Every wall carried his face. Every screen repeated the warning. Human criminal. Report immediately. Dangerous. Ethan's image glowed above markets, over transport gates, even inside restaurants where aliens ate without care. The galaxy had spoken. He was no longer just a worker. He was an outlaw, and he was being hunted. Ethan ran through the narrow service tunnels beneath the city. His breath came heavy, echoing against the metal walls. Behind him, he heard the sound of boots, the sharp hum of drones, and the metallic voice of enforcers shouting orders. Target is close. Do not let him escape. He pressed himself into the shadows, his body shaking. The glow in his arm pulsed faintly, urging him to fight, but he knew he couldn't win here. Not against so many. He moved again, silent as he could, slipping deeper into the tunnels. The air smelled of rust and old oil. Pipes rattled above him. His heart hammered in his chest, louder than the noise of the station. When he finally emerged into a lower district, the sight struck him. Humans. Dozens of them. Workers in torn clothes, children clinging to their mothers, old men with tired eyes. They looked at him as he stumbled into the dim street. Whispers filled the air. That's him. The one who stood against the enforcers. Ethan froze. Their eyes did not hold fear. They held something else, something he had not seen before. Hope. One woman stepped forward, her face pale but determined. You saved the boy, she said softly. The drones showed everything. We saw. We all saw. Ethan swallowed hard. And now they'll come for you too if you're seen with me. But the woman shook her head. For the first time, we are not ashamed. For the first time, we are proud to be human. The words struck him harder than any weapon. His chest burned. He wanted to say more, but shouts echoed in the distance. The enforcers were close. Too close. The humans quickly guided him into a hidden passage behind a broken market stall. A young boy pulled a metal sheet aside, revealing a dark tunnel. Go, he whispered. We'll cover your trail, Ethan hesitated. If they catch you, we are already prisoners, the boy said with quiet strength. At least now we fight back. Ethan had no choice. He slipped into the tunnel, the darkness swallowing him. Hours later, Ethan crouched in the ruins of an abandoned storage bay. His body ached. His mind spun. He had never been so hunted, so cornered. The relic in his arm glowed faintly as if sensing his fear. He closed his eyes, focusing. The warmth spread through him, calming his breath. For a moment, he almost felt safe. But then a sharp voice broke the silence. You cannot hide forever. Ethan's eyes snapped open. Across the room, a tall figure stepped from the shadows. An enforcer captain armored in black with 4 burning red eyes behind a mask. Its voice was cold, mechanical. Human, it said. You have broken the oldest law. You have shown power you should not possess. For this you will be erased. Ethan stood slowly. His hands glowed, light gathering at his fingertips. I didn't choose this, he said. But I won't let you hurt my people. The captain raised a blaster. Then you will die as a traitor. The shot came fast, but Ethan was faster. His shield flared, catching the blast. The force rattled the room, shaking loose dust and metal. Ethan pushed forward, his glow burning brighter. The captain struck again, swinging a blade charged with energy. Sparks flew as it hit Ethan's shield. Each blow pressed him back, but each time the relic inside him answered, stronger, louder. His arms shook, but he held firm. With a cry, Ethan thrust his hand forward. A wave of golden light blasted the captain across the room. The armored figure slammed into the wall, its mask cracked. For a moment there was silence. Then the captain's voice came again, weaker but filled with fury. You cannot fight the galaxy. They will come. All of them. You will drown in their law. Ethan's chest rose and fell, sweat dripping down his face. "Then let them come," he whispered. The captain staggered, then activated a beacon on its wrist. A red light pulsed. Reinforcements. Ethan's stomach twisted. He could not win against an army. He turned and fled, vanishing into the maze of tunnels once more. By dawn, the whole station buzzed with news. Aliens whispered of the human criminal who fought enforcers and lived. Posters of Ethan's face spread wider. Rewards were promised for his capture, but among the humans, whispers carried a different tone. "He fought for us. He stood against them. He is proof we are more than they say." Ethan's name was not known to them yet, but already he was becoming something larger. A symbol. As he rested in a dark corner of the station, exhausted and alone, Ethan thought of the alien's words. "Your choice will shape the future of humans in the galaxy." He had no food, no shelter, no friends. He was hunted by enforcers, betrayed by law. But deep inside, the relic pulsed like fire, and he knew the hunt was not the end. It was only the beginning. The station trembled with tension. Screens across the districts repeated the same order. Human criminal spotted. Do not approach. Enforcers authorized to use lethal force. Ethan's face glowed brighter than ever on the walls of the city. His name was still hidden, but he was no longer just a man. He was an enemy of the law. Ethan hid in the ruins of an old docking bay, his body weak from running, his breath ragged. The relic inside him pulsed hot and restless. He knew the enforcers would find him soon. He could feel it in the air. The hunt was ending, and he was the prey. The sound came first, boots striking metal, hundreds of them. Then the glow of weapons filled the bay. Dozens of armored enforcers surrounded him, their masks shining like red fire. Behind them floated drones, recording every moment. A commanding voice thundered, "Human! Surrender now or be destroyed." Ethan stood slowly. His legs shook, but his eyes burned with defiance. He could not hide anymore. He could not run anymore. "I didn't want this," he said, his voice echoing through the bay. "But you leave me no choice." The enforcers raised their blasters. The commander roared, "Fire!" Bolts of energy cut through the air. Ethan lifted his arms. The shield flared to life, brighter than ever. The blast struck and shattered against it, sparks flying like fireworks. The bay filled with blinding light, but the attacks kept coming. The pressure grew heavier. Ethan gritted his teeth, his body trembling under the storm of fire. The relic inside him pulsed harder, faster, until it felt like his chest would explode. And then it did. Not with destruction, but with awakening. The light inside Ethan erupted, pouring out of him in a wave. The blasters melted in the hands of the enforcers. The drones crashed to the ground, powerless. The very air vibrated with golden energy. The enforcers staggered back, shielding their eyes. Impossible. No human can. Ethan's body glowed, every vein filled with radiant light. His eyes burned like suns. His voice carried a strength not his own. "This power, it isn't just mine," he said slowly. "It belongs to all of us." The relic had not just fused with him, it had awakened something deeper, something ancient. The ground beneath the bay cracked. A hidden projection flared to life, triggered by his energy. Holograms filled the air, shapes of humans in ancient armor, ships with human designs flying across the stars, banners of a human empire long forgotten. Gasps rose from the crowd. Even the enforcers froze. The holograms spoke in voices older than the law. "We were here. We ruled the stars. We built wonders and carried fire across galaxies. And when darkness rose, we left behind our light, waiting for one who would awaken it again." Ethan's heart pounded. He understood now. The relic was not just power. It was memory, proof. Humans had once been more than servants, more than workers. They had been kings of the stars. The enforcer commander shouted, trying to regain control. "Do not believe this." Lies, ancient lies. But the holograms kept shining, and the humans hiding in the crowd, workers, children, old ones, stepped closer. Their eyes filled with tears. For the first time in generations, they saw truth. One whispered, "We are not weak." Another said, "We are not slaves." A child's voice rang out, "We are more." Ethan turned, his glow bathing them in warmth. "Yes," he said. "You are more." "We all are," the commander roared, raising his blade. "Silence him. Now." The enforcers charged, but Ethan lifted both hands. The relic blazed like a sun. A wave of golden fire rushed outward, not to destroy, but to disarm. Weapons cracked, armor failed, energy shields fell apart. The enforcers stumbled, helpless before the light. The commander struck at Ethan, but the blade shattered on contact with the glowing aura. Ethan grabbed the commander's wrist and spoke softly. "The law you protect is built on lies." With a surge of energy, the commander was thrown back, crashing to the ground. The bay was silent. The enforcers did not rise again. The drones were dead. Only Ethan stood, his body glowing with the truth of ancient humanity. The humans in the crowd stepped closer, no longer afraid. Their voices rose louder this time. "Hope! Freedom! Humanity lives!" Ethan lowered his arms. His glow softened, no longer fierce but steady. The relic inside him had changed. It was no longer just power. It was a beacon. He looked at the stars through the broken ceiling of the bay. For so long they had seemed cold, unreachable. Now they looked like home. He whispered to himself, "This is not the end. This is only the beginning." And deep inside, the relic pulsed in agreement.